Good morning. Welcome to the Presence of Light Talks with Charlie Riverman. It's always an adventure to arrive here and be with each of you every week. Hopefully everyone can hear me, and I see there are people arriving. Thank you for showing up, for taking the time out of your busy lives to be with me as I speak from my heart and my life experience to assist and confirm for each of you perhaps things that you're also experiencing during these amazing times of energetic acceleration that we as humans are going through during this evolution process. Good morning, Joelle. Good morning, Jenny. This morning's talk is really about the first three words that caught my attention this morning as I started to peruse the internet and social media articles and things that people were saying and expressing. And I feel, good morning, Jude, I feel that we all are feeling a bit unsettled, is a good word. Morning, Elia, I can actually, this is scrolling this morning. Some things are amazing. I suppose it's the little things in life that amaze me. So the first three words were truth, confusion, and guidance. And I didn't know how that was going to unfold. But if you see in the upper column of the heading of Humanity Healing, this was one of the first things I read this morning. So I share it with you as a marker, a guidepost for all that we do, because it struck home, and there's more to it, and I may read it later. But it struck me as we go through this search for truth, this unsettled energy of confusion and seek guidance. There's also a process that we need to continually focus on within our own hearts. And I think this expresses it very clearly. So it's a quote from a book, I believe it is, The Healing Secrets of the Ages by Catherine Ponder, I guess, yeah. So the quote is this: bless the world around you unselfishly with divine order. As you do so, you release the power of order into the atmosphere to do its perfect work. Look for, expect, and give thanks for divine order often. By doing so, you release one of your most important mind powers to work for you and through you to bless yourself and mankind. And I want to take a deep breath here, because right now we are all experiencing chaos at levels that are highly visible and palpable in our lives. Not that we haven't experienced this all of our lives, but there sort of seems to be a crescendo and a peak and peaks and valleys that are really setting people into states of fear, states of deep confusion, states of depression, bringing up all different sorts of emotional, the word backwash comes, things that happened in our lives in this lifetime, in past lifetimes, and moving through us, and for me, screaming to be released. And this is not an easy process, while at the same time, the world around us that we've tried to keep our balance in is sending off fireworks and, exploding and rocking as if it's in deep sea tidal waves. It's an amazing time for every human on this planet, no matter where you are. And I know this talk goes around the world, and I love you all because you're all my brothers and sisters. We are all here together as one humanity. And it's important for us to remember that in our hearts. It's going to take a while for us to practice that in our fullness. But as we see in the world, even the United States, the President of the United States in his speech, which I don't pay attention to because I'm not personally in favor of a lot of what he has to offer. I don't dishonor him, but he doesn't speak to me personally, but talks about separation. And that is something that I can't abide with. And so when you look at what we have in the world is a large nation whose influence in the world decides that it wants to be separate from the world. We have, in essence, a crisis around the world. And I really didn't want to talk about this perhaps this morning, but this is the truth. This is the truth that is underlying a lot of us. So I'm not asking people to judge the president or, each country for what they're doing, but try to understand that this is the confusion. This is an expression of the confusion of humanity as a collective. Each one of us are part of that collective. Each one of us are responsible for one tiny fragment of that confusion. And it's up to us to correct the confusion within ourselves first, before we go off speaking and talking and running our mouths and trying to gather people together. Honor that and bless that divine order within you, because there is a divine order. And come find that within yourself, and then act from that divine order as you go about your daily life. The message for me that I've been repeating for the past several days is do what you can where you are. And that's the third word in my talk this morning is guidance. And this comes from my guidance. I know many people may not agree with what I consider to be my guidance as being a reality or good for me. And that's perfect. It's not good. If it's not good for you, you are the one who has to decide where your guidance comes from and what your guidance you can trust. Find the guidance within yourself, within your own heart, that you can trust. I'm not concerned, and I say this all the time, with labels of guidance. I'm not concerned with labels that we put on anything, and I continually have this talk with people, is to pull the labels off. Two people I met this week, this was the talk. Pull the labels off. Pull the labels off. Dig deeper. Dig deeper into the energy of what is happening. And from that point, make your own determination of how you will work with that. Because it's vitally important right now that what we see around us and what is being expressed around us not be taken too literally. I spent the day yesterday with a gentleman who's older than I am, a beautiful soul, whose whole life was spent in media. He was I don't know what exactly his job, but he was part of a radio station here locally, and for years. And a very wise man who's seen history from a journalistic perspective. And as we sat talking, I could feel the pain in his heart when we started talking about the world events and the direction that it looked at, that society and leadership was taking. And I said to him, there's a deeper pain within your heart. And it's how the people in media and journalism and those who are here to report the truth to us have been corrupted. And he paused. He knew I saw his pain. And this morning, there was a woman, I had written something, and her expression was, it's so hard to figure out what's true anymore, or something to that effect. And so each of us are experiencing that. And it's not something we can't overcome. But we're not going to overcome it by something outside of us. There is nothing out there that will correct us. The only correction that any of us have anywhere on this planet, it doesn't matter who your leader is, doesn't matter what country you're from, doesn't matter what language you speak, doesn't matter what religion you follow. The only thing that can correct us is the voice that comes from within our hearts. The mind is being controlled. And until we come to the truth, and here's the first word, the truth, the true self who dwells within this heart space, not the one we've manifested to operate in this world through the mind, but the one who's in the heart, who's hidden in behind walls and walls of deep pain and suffering, that we've just walled that part of us off lifetime after lifetime. And we carry genetic coding within us now that keeps those walls tight until we open those gates, the gateways of our heart, and cry. We're going to cry. We're going to feel pain. But we're also going to come back to a condition of being children. And most of us had a lot of pain in childhood, because it's an experience that is foreign. Everything is foreign to us. Release it all. No matter how big, no matter how small. Because behind all of that energy is your true divine self. This week was an amazing, fun week for me. I spent it with two of my sisters from Loving Waters. We're all members of the council who hold together this beautiful energy for the water, blessing the water and guiding and leading people to embrace the water within themselves and within the world, and to honor it, knowing that without water, there is no life. And as a result of the water, we are living here. And that's another whole topic. But I spent the week with them, moving. We were in New Hampshire. We went to, we had dinner with an indigenous grandmother. And one day before one was going to return to California, my sister Elizabeth, I got the message that say, take her to the mountain. And that's a mountain that I work on. And so we went in the rain, and there was a great hesitation. I said, well, let's let it go and listen. And so we rode up to the top of the mountain in the rain, and so much magic happened. And the reason it happened was because we let go of all we thought. Oh, it's raining. Oh, we don't have enough time. All of these projections, all of this chatter, this confusion that said, no, let's go to the mountain and just see what it's about. And I wasn't guided to know. And we had this wonderful time standing on a rock. And before we got to the rock, there was an umbrella sitting on a table. Now, there's nobody around. And it's a rainbow-colored umbrella under which the three of us could fit. Now, this is like, we're looking around, it's like, this can't be real. This, we had raincoats on, but here's this umbrella. And we stood on the rock under the umbrella, and I wish we had a picture. It would be priceless. But in that moment, we became as children, little children, singing to the rain, singing to the water, chanting, listening, just like it was family, brothers and sisters. And beyond that, Shelley, who is my other sister in Loving Waters, looked up the main name of the mountain and got a reading that I had never gotten in all the years that I've been researching the mountain. And somebody called it Older Brother with Little Sisters. And it was perfect. There we were. I as the older brother, and they as the little sisters, or younger sisters, whatever the saying was. And we were in that moment enjoying life without a care about what was going on. Innocence. And that's what guidance brought us to. It brought us out of the confusion, out of the trying to figure out how we were going to do something, what we were going to do, all of that thinking, and brought us back to our hearts, which was the love for water and the love for nature and the love for life, together on a mountaintop in the rain, laughing and singing. And I share that with you because it's so powerful for all of us to remember how forgiving nature is. And I want you to reconnect to nature wherever you are and ask for guidance. To continue the story was the next day I take an elderly woman for walks, and we usually go up to the mountain because, as one man puts it, we're closer to God. And she just loves the air and she loves nature, and she's been an avid activist in her whole life for Mother Earth. And when we went there, I had never seen a porcupine in real life in its real habitat. And there was a porcupine not more than 20 feet from where the three of us were the day before in the rain. So there's a message of porcupine that somebody wrote on when I wrote a blog article. And the last few lines of that reading were, it was about, and I'll read this to you, the porcupine symbolism reminds you that you should never allow other people's opinions to prevent you from exploring activities that could otherwise be fun and enjoyable. In other words, you are overly sensitive to their barbs. Furthermore, it may be that these are old wounds that still aggravate and sting you. It may be necessary to remove the old barbs, no matter how painful, so that they do not fester and poison the system. Isn't it amazing how a lot of the things that bother us right now about the lack of truth and lack of honesty in people, the lack of integrity in people, resonates so deeply within us? And the message is we need to pull those barbs out. And how we do it is individual. I ask you to seek counseling and positive ways through natural means to do that. And know that when you release them, bless them. As I said in the beginning, bless the world around you. Bless even the ones who have caused us that pain. Most of them have no idea of what they've caused because they're acting out of their own pain and suffering. And when we can start to look at the world as such, we can then begin to have a little more compassion, not only for others, but for ourselves. And when we can have compassion for ourselves, honor ourselves, we begin to step into the truth of who we truly are. And we awaken to a deeper guidance within us that has always been there. We just looked and listened in the other direction. So that's where I'm at. And as I continued my reading this morning, the porcupine message has one more line, and then it has, I want to go on to another message from 2013 that my dear sister Alaya, with whom I've done many talks, posted, and in order to bring this to a close. So the last porcupine message was, occasionally porcupine meaning is also a reminder that we must be careful of how we use our words. Thus, it is possible that you are inappropriately taking the joy from others with your barbed sentences. And I had to think long and hard on that one. And I will carry that one with me because, yes, sometimes I can be quite barbed. And so the guidance was showing me that, yes, Charlie, even you who do these talks and speak to people so very often, be careful of those words. Be cautious. Know that the person that's sitting in front of you or across from you or on the other side of this camera may feel that sharp pain from your words. And so for those of you whom I may have hurt or stuck with my words over the period of my talking, I humbly apologize. I speak not to hurt anyone. It is not my intention to be here to harm or to hurt. However, sometimes the pain comes up, arises as I speak only because you're ready to move through it. So I'm not here in judgment of anyone, and I forgive those who are in judgment of me and what I have to say. And with that, we have an article from 2013, 5 years ago, that Elia posted this morning on Facebook. And I just want to read this to you before I close, because I think it's important how these things cyclically come around, and we're not consciously aware of how or why they arise. But it's always good to take another look and see the words in a different light. And it's about energy and words, and so I will read this to you. Turn your attention to your throat. See how the energy feels there. For some of you, it will feel a little hot, a little stuck. Just allow it to open. Allow your throat to be the passage which connects your head and the energy in your head down into your body, your torso, and allow there to be freedom there. This is a challenging area in the human body. I'm going to say the heart center. It's a thin part of you, yet it is so powerful. Things can get stuck in the throat when the truth is not being spoken. And I'm going to add, and the heart can close when the throat gets stuck. Many of you are ready for higher levels of truth in your words. And words are not just the words that you say out loud. The throat is connected to all of the language you hear inside of you also. Some of you may wish to place your left hand now over your throat, just to support it in opening. Allow yourself to state inside yourself in words, I will use my words consciously. My words will not be a shield, nor will they be a barrier between myself and others. My words will reflect me. The words you choose are highly important. People are afraid of words, for a word can reveal so much about a soul. But a word can also your life. The way you communicate can redirect your life very quickly. And that's Zechariah through Lee from Earth Meditation. And I want you to think about that. Think about your words. Words should represent your truth. Truth removes confusion. When you are confused, ask for guidance, knowing that when we're connected and totally balanced within our hearts, all things will be revealed. And that, my beloved family, is my talk for this morning. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. May the blessings of all that we are rise up from within you, through your heart. Speak through your mouth and encourage others to not lose hope, to not lose faith, but to return to wholeness within themselves. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. May the breath of life fill you forever. Till next week, be blessed, enjoy, go out there and play like little children again. Let go of the fear, open the heart, and know that I'm here. People are connecting with me in many different ways, in person, on Zoom, whatever. I love you. Bye-bye.